The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT Magazine, Premier Christy Clark announces plans to improve trade and investments with Asian markets with a focus on liquefied natural gas. After 10 years of thrills, the Dunbar haunted house is closing its doors for good. And an 18-year-old student uses personal training as a way to recover from his battle with cancer. Hello and welcome to the Halloween edition of BCIT Magazine. I'm Sukh Purewal.
And I'm Kyle Hocking, and as you can see, we here at BCIT Magazine have gotten ourselves into the festive Halloween spirit. Later on in the show, we'll give you some tips about how you can stay safe this Halloween. Since her re-election, BC Premier Christy Clark has been focused on expanding the province's economy. Clark has set her eyes on the Asian market, and this week she appointed former Kelowna MLA Ben Stewart as BC's Asian Investment and Trade Commissioner. Connor Raslin has the details.
Premier Christy Clark says the government is taking a major step towards improving trade with Asia. This time, the focus is on BC's natural gas resources.
We need a representative in Asia who is known to have access to power and government here in British Columbia. That is a critical part of doing successful business in Asia.
But critics are questioning Ben Stewart's appointment. They say Clark is repaying him because he gave up his seat in the legislature for her. But Stewart defended his qualifications.
Yes, I have had experience in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Japan, where we currently and actively are working today.
LNG critics are worried about the environmental impact of sending more natural gas to Asia. They say train and tanker traffic will cause increased pollution on the coast. Clark, however, is confident about the safety and sustainability of BC's natural gas.
When we extract natural gas from shale, we do it safer than anybody else in the world. There has, in 50 years, in the Northeast, there has never been a reported incident of water contamination.
Stewart's appointment comes 1 month before Premier Clark's tour in Asia. She will meet with leaders and promote the benefits of liquefied natural gas. Her first stop is Beijing. Connor Aslan in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Since the departure of Don Wright in February, BCIT has been searching for a new president. Last week, Kathy Kinloch was named to the position, and I had the chance to speak with her as she prepares to take on the new role. BCIT students are never shy when asked to share what they would change on campus.
More parking lot for the students.
Yeah, I think students will be a lot better, like not waking up so early so they can focus better.
We don't do any review, and we have instructors where it's like they need feedback and we're not giving it to them.
I think they should have more like student clubs and stuff as well, because like I feel there's not enough like student life going on around campus.
And with the hiring of Kathy Kinloch, they'll have a new president to voice those concerns to beginning in the new year.
Well, I am excited. I've been looking forward to this announcement coming and then to arriving at BCIT on January 6th, and I do so with lots of anticipation and excitement.
Kinloch has served as president of Vancouver Community College since 2010. She's already begun to make plans for her new position at BCIT.
Well, I think any president, no matter if they're arriving or if they've been in term for some time, always is looking at the financial future of the organization and the opportunities to meet the government mandate. As well, the culture in the organization in terms of the spirit of working together in a collaborative manner, in a transparent manner with all stakeholders, including the students, the unions, the leadership.
Chris Golding has been acting BCIT president since March. He believes Kinloch has the right experience for the job and will smoothly transition into office.
She knows the institution, she's run a school, she's run an institution herself. To come back to BCIT is particularly advantageous to us, so I think she's particularly well prepared for this job.
Kinloch is also the first female appointed president in BCIT history, but Golding says that didn't play into her selection.
Woman or otherwise, she's the right person for this job, and I think to mark it as the first appointed female president is, I think, something that BCIT should be proud of.
BCIT's new president comes into office on January 6, 2014. Kyle Hocking in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
UBC has been making headlines lately following a string of sexual assaults dating back as early as April. Last night, hundreds marched in a rally to support the victims. Over 200 people marched in solidarity as a part of the Take Back the Night event at UBC's Vancouver campus last night. Some feel UBC's response has failed to tackle the larger issue of rape culture.
And the security and the RCMP, they're all talking to the victims, but they're not talking to the perpetrators. And I think the perpetrators feel really empowered when they see that.
It has to do with sexual objectification of bodies, and statistics show us that this is a gendered crime, so it often is targeted towards women, though we'd like to make this an inclusive space.
I'm tired of walking in fear. I'm tired of holding my keys within my fingers. I will not accept this, because violence has been normalized and we are told that we are responsible for our own safety. We will not accept this.
According to UBC's president, millions of dollars have been spent increasing the lighting on campus, and there's more police presence than ever before. BC has the 4th lowest tuition costs in the country, but the province plans to be the first to offer a cost-effective way to help post-secondary students in trades programs. Our reporter Neetu Garcha has the details.
Expenses like books are the reason why post-secondary school isn't easy on the wallet.
Yeah, there's nobody that's happy to pay that much for books.
Trevor Kootenay is a first-year carpentry apprentice student. He says the books aren't worth the cost.
Most guys wish that they could find some other way to make it work without having to spend that much money on books that are really only good for a 6-week program.
Advanced Education Minister Amrik Verk says the program has many benefits, but the main idea is to save money for students.
It's all about making education affordable. So several $100s saved. That's the nexus to make education that much more affordable.
Trevor says every little bit counts.
It would just go a long way to making this easier for all of us.
While students like Trevor are happy to hear about the possibility of saving a few dollars, the Canadian Federation of Students says the new open textbooks program won't tackle the larger issue of student debt.
Right now, the government's not investing what we need to be investing in accessible post-secondary education, advancing the idea of open textbooks and that sort of thing. You know, it's a fine idea. I think the money that we need to invest in our post-secondary education system goes far and beyond what's being put into the open textbook program.
The 20 open textbooks for skills training and technical subjects will be available in September 2015. Neetu Garcha in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Joining us now is reporter Neetu Garcha to explain a little bit more about the online textbooks. Neetu, other than saving money, what benefits will the open textbook program provide?
Well, Sukh, the program will certainly be easier on students' backs as the weight of textbooks will be reduced. On top of that, students can also have a look at their textbooks online for free before they register for a course. And online textbooks are also easier to navigate. By typing in a key search word, it's much easier than flipping through the physical pages of a textbook.
So will this help tackle the bigger issue of student debt?
Well, Sukh, as mentioned in the story, the Canadian Federation of Students, while they do think this is a positive step in the right direction, they don't think it tackles the issue of student debt at its core. They think that needs to be done by reducing tuition fees and offering more upfront grants so that students can pay for things such as tuition fees and living expenses.
Thanks, Neetu. Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, the world's first ATM machine for digital currency called Bitcoin opens in Vancouver. And SFU is using a hyperbaric chamber to train deep-sea divers to deal with a dangerous condition.
The most rewarding thing for me has been the relationships I developed in the program, both with instructors and classmates.
My sense of confidence has never been higher. I mean, this program's offered great opportunities to be in real world, real industry situations, and being in those moments and knowing I can contribute, I can do this.
It's exciting to be in this industry and to meet lots of great people and to make amazing friends.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, realizing your potential.
Standby graphics, ready, camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action,
or bring your creative ideas to life, BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
Simon Fraser University is home to Canada's only civilian hyperbaric chamber. For many years, it's been used to help pilots adjust to high altitudes. Now, researchers are using it to prepare deep-sea divers for a dangerous condition. Connor Raslin has more.
What these are is just a series of valves that either...
Sherry Ferguson is the head operator of SFU's hyperbaric chamber. She's using it to study nitrogen narcosis, a condition that can seriously harm deep-sea divers.
Narcosis being something that a diver would suffer as they get deeper in the water column. The surrounding pressure increases the partial pressure of the gas, the air that they're breathing, and it causes an impairment, like a euphoria.
The chamber mimics oxygen and atmospheric pressure levels experienced by deep-sea divers. The participants actually live through the drunken-like state they would face under narcosis.
We can take up to 6 participants, plus a chamber staff who's in here for safety. We have visual of them.
To ensure the participants' safety, Ferguson has staff on hand to monitor the chamber.
We can always operate from the inside, so we make sure that the participants are okay at all times.
It's still a mystery why narcosis occurs. Ferguson wants to uncover the cause and identify early warning signs that could help save lives.
All divers will suffer this by the time they reach about 100 feet, and it will intensify with further depth. But the exact mechanism behind why this happens, we don't know. So I'm very interested in understanding on a cellular basis, trying to figure out why exactly that's happening.
The chamber has been booked for dive training until next year. Connor Aslan in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Bitcoins are a digital form of currency accepted in some countries around the world. And although they've been around since 2009, Canada has yet to jump on that bandwagon. Now Vancouver's leading the way in this up-and-coming market through a local Bitcoin trading company called Bitcoiniacs. Neetu Garcha explains.
So what I got here is a screen.
It looks like a regular ATM, but this unique cash machine located at the Waves Coffee on the corner of Howe and Smythe in downtown Vancouver converts Canadian dollars into Bitcoins and vice versa.
Deposit however much I want in terms of cash. Here I have $40. So right now I got $40 in there. It tells me that I can buy about 0.18 of a Bitcoin.
Bitcoins are a digital currency. Promoters say they're much safer than regular cash transactions on the internet.
When I first started using it, the only way you could actually get Bitcoins was either to mine for them or find some random shady guy in the streets.
Bitcoin users are thrilled about the new Bitcoiniac store and the ATM conversion machine.
Now it's kind of cool. You can use something like an ATM and just buy or sell them any time of the day.
Vancouver is leading the way in the Bitcoin market, especially now that it's home to a conversion ATM and a physical store, something that the founders plan to spread across the country.
We purchased 5 in total. We've got 4 more coming in December, and we'll be spreading those out in probably Toronto, Calgary, Montreal, and Ottawa. But we haven't finalized any locations yet.
Bitcoiniac's founders have been contacted by dozens of businesses across the country that want to host the ATM. They plan to have 5 more active within the next few months. Neetu Garcha in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Joining us now is Michael Young, of the founder and president of the Bitcoin Club at SFU. Thanks for joining us today, Michael.
Thank you.
So let's say I buy a Bitcoin. How safe is my money?
It's about as safe as any other currency right now because of the fact that Bitcoin thus far has only risen up in price value. So in the long term, that's probably how it will stay.
How are Bitcoins regulated without a central bank?
Bitcoins are regulated through a decentralized network of miners that verify the transaction that goes on in the network.
So what can you do with Bitcoins that you can't do with cash?
Well, suppose you and I are chatting right now through the internet. I can buy you a cup of coffee using Bitcoin instantaneously and without any fees.
And what else can you tell me about the Bitcoin?
Well, the Bitcoin is probably the best way for people to settle international remittances without any middleman and without any added fees, and it does that at an instantaneous rate.
Thanks for providing some insight for us today, Michael.
Thank you.
Michael Young of SFU's Bitcoin Club. The BC Lions received a much-needed boost this week as they get set for the CFL playoffs. I had the chance to go to the Lions practice facility and talk with the Leos quarterbacks. Travis Lule made his return to practice for the first time in 6 weeks after injuring his shoulder in a game against the Montreal Alouettes.
Anytime you're coming off of an injury, I mean, it's physical and it's mental. You have to prove yourself you can do it, but you have to be physically capable of doing it too. And again, it's a progression. It takes time.
The Lions were happy to have their offensive leader back on the field.
Travis is a leader out here, for this organization. Travis is as good as anybody in the league at playing this position. And I'm just trying to help in any way that I can until he gets ready to go.
It's huge. You can see it, when he breaks the huddle down. You can see it when he gets back into the huddle. Guys miss him. He's a veteran presence. He's a guy that's been here and done well, and that means a lot.
It's the most competitive position in football, but the three Lion quarterbacks say they have a great relationship.
We definitely get along well. We're always kind of joking around, and we have each other's backs. So, we get along well, and it helps us on and off the field tremendously.
We got to help each other out as much as we can. I've always been a big believer in that quarterback room being very important, and the guys have to communicate well. It's so much easier if that mutual respect is there.
Lule won't be starting on Friday against the Calgary Stampeders. All signs point to Pierce getting the call for that game. Pierce finished the last game strongly and made some plays that looked like the Pierce of old.
I think of all things, it might have been the block that really kicked him off and got him going. But that's been Buck's forte throughout his career. Whether it's a run, a scramble play, or something like a block, he's the type of guy who will do that stuff for his team. So it was cool to see. Obviously, it was huge for our team in that football game.
Friday marked the final game of the regular season for the Lions, who now travel into Saskatchewan to play the Rough Riders in the Western Conference semifinal. Sukh Purewal in Surrey for BCIT Magazine.
The Vancouver Police Department, together with Vancouver paramedics and fire services, are urging citizens to be safe this Halloween. The city's littlest paramedic was on hand to warn trick-or-treaters that bright and reflective clothing should be worn on Halloween night.
Be safe out there, be seen. Don't anticipate that the drivers can see you at all. People are very, very busy and very distracted. So adults, kids, everybody, be seen, be safe.
Vancouver Fire cautions citizens as well, saying fireworks can cause serious injuries. Only those of age and holding a valid license can buy them legally.
The problems that we generally see are problems that are generally encountered annually because of people who are usually under the age of 19 and are using fireworks inappropriately.
Police also said any weapons that are part of costumes should be clearly marked as imitations. And with us now is reporter Con Araslin with more information on Halloween safety. So Con, what can you tell us?
Well, obviously Halloween is all about having fun, but it's also important to stay safe as well. Now it gets dark early, so it's important to have a flashlight with you at all times to see where you're going and see where your kids may have gone. But the important issue is fireworks. Now, fireworks are illegal to use without a valid permit, but more importantly, they're extremely dangerous. Even a simple firecracker can burn your hands or start a fire. Parents are also advised to keep a close eye on what candy their children collect while they're trick-or-treating and make sure it's all safe to eat.
Are there any other dangers to watch out for when on the road?
Well, Halloween is a busy time of the year. The roads are packed with children, so police are urging drivers to be cautious. Keep their eyes open and make sure that no one's on the road. Not everyone is wearing reflective gear, and not everyone is wearing these brightly decorated costumes. So this is extremely important, especially for suburban neighborhoods.
Thanks, Con. Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, a lighter look at Halloween with the tour of a haunted house that after 10 years of thrills will be closing its doors for good. And an 18-year-old student uses personal training as a way to recover from his battle with cancer.
I chose BCIT because I know that all the programs are very hands-on. We have our own radio station, like it's one of the best programs that I've ever heard of.
I am starting a job on Monday, so confidence is high.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this fun.
A defining moment for me was when I finished my first internship and got lots of really great feedback from industry professionals.
I would have never imagined I'd be walking into the floors of TSN and thinking, I'm not a student anymore, I'm here to work.
I will be starting a job with an investigative news program in Toronto, and I'm really excited to see that grow into what will become, hopefully, my dream job.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, putting you to work.
If you like to get your groove on, head to the Chan Center for Performing Arts for Last One Stands. It's a popping and locking hip-hop competition. It gets underway November 9th at UBC. Doors open at 3, and the battles go down at 5:30. So bust a move, and don't be late. Do you still have a bellyache from the Halloween candy you decided to buy all those children you're expecting at your apartment? Well, get out and take in the 10th annual Diwali Fest. The cultural festival runs from October 29th to November 8th, and there's plenty of events scheduled, so there's no excuse not to go. Christmas is coming. Have you bought your loved ones their gifts yet? Of course you haven't. But if you need to think of some ideas, head to the Vancouver Hopscotch Festival. It's aged 18 years and it's 6 days of beer and whiskey tasting. It starts November 11th and it's guaranteed to have a high alcohol content. That wraps up your community calendar. I'm Caleb Henry. Bottoms up.
18-year-old student Brian Lau was granted a wish by the Children's Wish Foundation after recovering from his lengthy battle with leukemia. Lau decided to take on a personal trainer that he's been with for 7 months. He had a 50-50 chance to survive, but he's now living a healthy lifestyle like any other ordinary teenager. Our reporter Renil Desai has more on Brian's comeback story.
At the young age of 14, Brian Lau was told he had leukemia. His battle with cancer lasted over 3 years.
Body was weak, energy levels were low, had troubles getting out of bed. Like sometimes I would need help just to get out of bed. I was slowly losing hair.
3 years after his diagnosis, Lau received the news that he was cancer-free and soon after was granted a wish. His mindset was focused on recovering and getting back to living somewhat of a normal life. That's where his personal trainer, Anthony Finlay, came into the picture.
He's been teaching me lots of different exercises, movements. He's been pushing me to limits that I have not pushed myself before.
Former CFL player and now owner of Level 10 Fitness, Finlay noticed Lau was shy at first, but today he's full of confidence.
So I think he was absolutely willing to do whatever was necessary for him to improve, and he automatically put that full trust in me to create something that could help him improve in all the aspects that he wanted. One of Brian's goals in the beginning was always to increase his vertical or be quicker, be more explosive if he was going to get to play sports again. So luckily I think he's up 5 inches on his vertical so far. He's faster, he's running more efficiently.
Every workout is different, but in the end, Lau continues to meet his goals, and after 7 months of training, he's stronger than ever before.
It's a wonderful time of his life to feel confident and to feel proud of himself.
Feeling strong, healthy, happy, confident, just feeling more like my usual self, but like I guess feeling better too, like feeling like a better person.
It wasn't long ago when Lau was fighting for his life, but his hard work and commitment in the gym has him living a healthy lifestyle. But more importantly, he's alive and full of energy. Renel Desai in North Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
A recent study released by Stats Canada shows that Canadians spent close to $19 million in online shopping last year. That number is up 24% since 2010. Travel was the most shopped item online, with 58% of Canadians using the web to pay for hotels, airline tickets, and rental cars.
The Dunbar Haunted House has been spooking people in the Lower Mainland for over 10 years. The attraction became so popular that the owner had to move it from its Dunbar neighborhood to a warehouse in South Vancouver. Now the House of Horrors is finally closing its doors for good. Connor Aslan has the details.
This horrifying sight is part of Brad Leith's passion project. His Dunbar Haunted House started off as a small neighborhood attraction, but quickly grew beyond anything he imagined.
We didn't intend it to get this big. It was really the public response. I think it was the second year we were doing a little display for kids. And we were getting kids on Halloween, but we were getting more adults.
For Leith's final haunted house, the theme is terrors of history. People will walk through horrors from ancient Egypt, Rome, and even go to a futuristic apocalypse. When asked why he's ending such a popular attraction, Leith spoke bluntly.
We're old farts. Our bones are getting creaky. This one took 11 months to set up. Half the crew is on injured reserve with bad backs and bad knees, and I got bad elbows, and we wanted to end on a high note when we can still maintain a high level of quality.
Hundreds of volunteers help build these sets. Many are sad to see the haunted house come to an end.
Volunteered last year, came back this year, and I was looking forward to doing it again next year, but now I'm very sad. They do a lot of good work here.
It took almost a year to build the final Dunbar Haunted House. The painstaking detail can be seen in these chilling statues. Proceeds go to paying the warehouse rent, and any money left over goes to charity. Connor Aslan in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca. I'm Sukh Purewal.
And I'm Kyle Hocking. From all of us here at BCIT, thanks for watching, and we'll leave you now with a shot of the Dunbar Haunted House.